Rick, that must have been the bounce-back performance you were after tonight, I imagine?
Yeah, it was... I'm just really happy for the 19 boys that we brought up here today. It's the scenario, the situation we're in. It's hard. It's very hard, and the last 2 years has made it even harder because we've been used to winning games of football and playing better than what we have. The way we won tonight was a credit to the mentality of the player, the attitude of the players. And it's exact opposite to what I said last week. And I'll repeat what I said, that we just haven't had enough individuals all play a good game, a great game, one of their better games of football together tonight. Out of the 17 that took the field, there wasn't a player that I could say didn't get a tick of approval in regards to their defence and attack. And that's what it takes to win at this level.
Despite a 6-1 penalty count against you, you control possession beautifully. Would you like to single out anyone responsible for, or most responsible for that sort of control?
I think our kicking game put an immense amount of pressure on Des's boys. I think Des would say the same thing. You know, we've got a number of repeat sets of 6. I don't think we've been in a position like that all season in regards to the possession and the control of the football we've had. I think we're at 90% before at half time, and it all counts. It's just they're the little portions of game statistics you need in your favour to be in the fight to win, and especially with the way the game is played at the moment, you need to be able to control that area of the game. But I'll go back to it that each individual had a contribution towards that result tonight. It wasn't, where we've been over the last couple of months, where we've only had bits and pieces, or a few players play well one week, and then next week we've got another few players. We had a team effort tonight, so I'm just really happy that they got a good feeling in their as an individual and group tonight.
How pleasing is it, Zig, to see Sam Williams play like he did tonight?
I often say, that Sam's a great leader of a football team from an attacking point of view. We all know Sam's gets targeted from opposition attack. We get that, and Sam does everything he possibly can do to get in front of them. I thought he did a good job tonight in that area, but also from an attacking point of view with Matty Frawley. We kept putting pressure on them with our kicking game, and we played to a plan tonight, and they executed it, and that's what you want from your halves. And then I thought that Tommy Starling and Josh Hodgson were terrific in the middle third of the footy field as well.
I was going to say, I guess his composure has really helped you in a lot of ways this year, given what's gone on with that number 7 jersey, just the way he'd sort of be a no-fuss guy, that he wouldn't be too stressed about other things that have gone on, I guess.
No, look, everyone... he's a experienced player. He's played, I think it's his 101st NRL game now, and he's a competitor.
Tarpany had about 170 metres off the bench by half-time. I thought his momentum really turned the game after Manly started well.
Massively. Joe's last month has been, last 3 to 4 weeks has been his best of the season. And, you hear a lot of comment about our situation at the moment, that we're fractured as a group. We've got issues in the camp. We haven't. But we're all very competitive individuals. We're a club that strives to be a competitive football team that wants to be playing final football. And when you're in a very volatile, competitive industry, there's always going to be headbutts. And I've never coached a football team or be coached as a player where there hasn't been a few headbutts throughout the year. But we're all men, and we get on with it. It is a lot different in the inside our club than what the comment is outside. I know we've been accused of players not putting in, lack of effort. That couldn't be any further from the truth. You look at last week's game and we were really embarrassed, but there was effort there. We were just poor. We played poor football. We defended very poorly and we didn't have any attack. But it wasn't through lack of effort, it was through lack of, as I started this press conference with, not enough players playing their best game of football all on the one day. Less than 1% of your week. You've got to play well for 80 minutes of football, and my job's to get them up to try and do that. And my job is, like the players, to try and be my best every week.
You talk about the external noise, but the reality is you're just outside that top 8, and I think you're level with the Sharks. What does that say about the club, and where do you think you are with 8 rounds to go?
I'm worrying about next game. We're not in a position to be concerned about what's happening with the table or what's happening over the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'll give these boys a little bit of downtime because I've got a longer turnaround now after a very short turnaround. I'll give them a bit of downtime. Not that they can do much because we're in isolation back home, but a bit of downtime this weekend will be a lot easier than what it's been because it's, again, I repeat myself that I'm happy that the players can have a little bit of joy in their couple of days with their families or partners now because that's important. And let me tell you, I'm not downplaying, or please don't underestimate what I say there because it's been a tough situation going over the last 3 months, only winning a game or so, and we're certainly not out of it. It doesn't mean we're anywhere near out of it, but we need to back up today's performance. But we can't win that here without, and I know Manly without 2 of their best players. They're probably one of the best, probably Travojevic is probably the best fullback, best player in the game at the moment. I had 3 of my best players out too, so we can't win that game tonight if we're not mentally and physically willing to want to perform that way. And we don't win that game tonight if we're broken inside our club, because I can promise you we're not.
Ricky, you mentioned the outside noise, question marks over character or attitude. Do players take that personally? And they hear that?
Oh, yeah, of course they do. If it's not right, yes. And we spoke about it this week, to be honest. If it's correct, well, you got to live with it. But it's not. And as I say, there has been some headbutts with a couple of players this year with myself, but that's me trying to create an edge. That's me trying to get that player to play his best football. That's not me personally attacking a player. The one thing I try so hard to do is build a relationship with my player. That's what I think I'm good at, and I won't change that. And some days, you might have a headbutt with your best mate, but you've got to be big enough to move on. And it's not all the players' fault, I'm wrong too. But you sit down, discuss it and move forward. And it's a tough sport, it's a tough job, playing in the NRL and coaching it. And if you've got to be able to handle self-analysis, you've got to be able to handle criticism as a coach and as a player, and you move forward as a group. And that's what they did tonight. And again, I reiterate, we're certainly not out of the woods. We need to back that game up tonight, and we'll start preparing Monday for that.
Just on Xavier Savage, everyone was excited to see him with ball in hand, but I think it was his defensive play to stop Brad Parker in the first half that swung momentum. How big a play do you think that was for you tonight?
He made a couple of big plays. The big fella that made a break there late in the second half, off a good little short ball, he got in front of him and stopped him and pulled him down. I think Rapper thought it was Rapper. I thought it was Sebi Chris that came over the top of him, but I'll give Rapper the credit. Then he knocked on. I think. So he jumped on his back and knocked the ball on. So it was a big play by Xavier there. I was very happy for Xavier. He's a young boy. This time last year, he's just finishing year 12. He's obviously got a lot to learn, and the best way to learn is by being out there. And I don't like throwing young players in to play NRL at this when you're going through this type of difficult period, when you're losing games of football. But I must say, the senior boys got around him. Those boys were fantastic with Xavier all week. I told him first thing Monday that he was going to be playing, so I can give him as much time as possible to sink it in and prepare. But our players, they got around him and did a really good job making sure he was comfortable and ready for a performance.
How's Dynamis with that knee/calf?
No, it's calf. He had a cut on the knee, but he's got a calf. He might be a couple of weeks. Talking to Dynamis himself, might be a week or two.
You got Tommy Starling into the game sort of midway through the first half there, and Hodjo looked good in that sort of small 13 role. Is that a sort of model you want to try and use moving forward now for the rest of the season?
It comes back to, it comes back to the style of game. It comes back to how the game's going at a certain period of the play in the first half. They both combined very well together, but it was a plan this week to get Tommy on very early. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.